Go ahead and call the meeting to order.
Okay, want to do the roll call?
Jim Weber,
Here.
Dino Ori,
Here.
Norman Sales, Belinda Young.
Here.
We have Michael McCarthy,
Here.
Ed Zaoski,
Here.
and Mike Kelly.
Mike.
All right.
Here.
All right, everyone is here.
Okay. Could I have a motion to approve the minutes from last month's meeting? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to
Okay.
approve the last month's meeting. I was here.
I'll second the motion.
Okay. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jim, if you want to go ahead and
Yep.
move on to the first
Whenever
case.
you're
for
ready.
the meeting.
Okay, so the first case 19-R-04, petition of Kimberly and Michael Todd to rezone property located along Chestnut from R1, one family, to R3, two family. Okay, so if you could raise your right hands. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, whoever wants to go first,
Okay.
tell us what you're thinking.
My name is Kim Todd. This is my husband, Michael. Please bear with me. My allergies are killing my
problem.
voice. I'll try and speak up.
No problem.
First, I want to apologize for missing the May meeting. We had a family emergency and were pulled away. But we were able to watch part of the meeting via Facebook Live. We're asking for the rezoning of our properties. I'm not sure if you are aware or not, but we did request through Tazewell County that the 1 acre lot be split in half. They have done so. I've brought paperwork printed out that has the 2 different PIN numbers on it. If you'd like a copy, I can give one to everybody. Their GIS is not updated yet. They told me that it would be several months before they got the GIS updated.
Okay.
But they do have it out for public record that there are 2 different PIN
Yeah,
numbers.
if you have a copy, we would take one.
There's enough there for everybody.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so tell us what you're proposing to.
Okay, so we're just asking for the rezoning of our properties from a single family to a 2-family property. Due to the lot sizes and the close proximity of other zoning for multifamily, we feel that it meets the criteria. We are looking at putting a duplex on at least one of the lots right now. If things move along, we may put a duplex on the second lot, or we may sell the second lot. But we like the option of rezoning both lots at this time. I sent pictures. We have contacted Homeway Home. They've done duplexes. The duplexes that are next to Cape Cod Village, close to Morton, that little area right in there, those are all Homeway Home built duplexes, and we would use the same plans as those, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, on a crawl, very nice homes. And so we just like the zoning for the property so we could move forward with that. We did hear the concerns of the neighbors during the Facebook Live feed in May. And yes, we did receive one notice for the grass being too tall back in May of 2018, which was rectified very quickly. We've been landlords in East Peoria for 6-7 years. We sold the property. We improved the property. We are currently working on a property in Washington at this time, and we've gotten nothing but compliments on the property that we are fixing up currently. We did hear the safety concerns for the children in the area. Building a duplex would be really not generate any more traffic during the build than a regular single-family home that would be built. It would be no different than having two families on one lot. I mean, the lots could have been split into thirds, and we would have had three, third acres. But we really don't see that as a concern. There is a church located at the end of the street that accommodates parking up to 50 slots. Now, I know the church has been sold, but at some point in time, there was a lot of high traffic. Well, maybe not high traffic, but there was traffic in that neighborhood for that church a couple of times a week. So I really don't see the safety of the children as being a concern. We are we have grandchildren, we have children, we're very careful around all of them. The removal of the tree was a concern. It is our property, and we really don't see a need to explain us taking down trees on our property. The spraying of weeds, I know, was a concern with the neighborhood. The neighbors spray, we just saw one of the neighbors spraying their yard over the weekend when we were out there mowing. We adjoin up to a cornfield, and there's herbicides that are sprayed on that. We spray a regular weed killer once a week to try and control the weeds where we cannot mow. And we do have some dead trees that we took down early on whenever we took down the barn that was about ready to fall down. We had the gentleman take down the trees as well because there were some dead trees. But also we wanted to open up the lot so we could see the potential for it. So basically, I understand their concerns. I live in a neighborhood, I probably have concerns as well. But I feel like we are probably some of the better homeowners, property owners in Tazewell County. You could come out and take a look at our place. Look at our place that we owned in East Peoria or the one in Washington to back that. So, do you have any questions for us?
I'm sure we will. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we?
Yeah, I guess the only thing I wanted to say is, are we currently under any type of ordinance violations as of this date?
Are you aware of any, Glenn?
I am not aware of any at this time. I would have to check, excuse me. That's predominantly through our buildings and inspections department, through our code enforcement. And I'm not in that department, so I don't have immediate access to that information. But to my knowledge, they usually make us aware of things, and I haven't been informed of anything. But if you'd like, it's something I can check up on and get back to you.
I mean, I know we haven't been served with anything, so
You usually would be provided a notice, a 7-day remediation, and if that's not taken care of, then further steps are taken. So if you don't have one of those that you're aware of, a notice does have to be posted somewhere, either on the property or provided to you in the mail. So if you don't have either of those, then I would not suspect that you have anything.
Okay, so, yeah, I mean, I just wanted that out in the open
Sure.
here tonight, if we're currently under any violations or not.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, do you have any questions?
Any questions?
You had mentioned that you have this split into two lots, is
Yes.
that correct?
Yes.
And in your statement a minute ago, you said something about it being a third, a third, and a third.
No, I said we could have done that, but we did not.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be two lots, so you're
Yep.
gonna build a duplex on one, and you're gonna try and sell the other.
We don't know. It depends on how the finances go. If the finances roll along like we would anticipate, then we would choose to build another duplex on the other lot. So we're asking to have them both rezoned, yes.
Okay. That way you have the zones properly. for
Yes.
the other duplex.
Yep, absolutely.
And you stated that you've been talking with Homeway Homes, so
Yes.
that's the type of structure you're gonna be putting there,
Yep.
that have basements,
No, we're not going to put a basement under it. It would probably have a crawl space under it.
cross space. And what, two-car garage? or-
Yes, it'll be 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-stall garage, close to 1,800 square feet. Each side would be close to 1,800 square feet. We're anticipating a higher end rental. It really wouldn't be to our benefit to have a low end rental. We're looking to probably rent between 15 and 2,000 each side.
15 to 2,000, okay.
And what is the anticipated time that you would probably be looking at construction with this?
Well, Homeway Homes, whenever we first talked to them, they said that it would take about six months from beginning to end, from the time we place the order until the house is finished. Now, they were looking at, back in March, they were looking at a start date of September. But we've not started anything because we wanted to make sure we got the zoning. So I'm anticipating that it probably wouldn't even begin until maybe in the spring, once we sign the contracts with Homeway Home.
Get the foundation in and everything?
Yep,
and-
yep.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. Thank you.
Okay.
Ed, do you have anything?
Yeah, are all utilities there?
Yes.
Gas,
Yep.
gas, septic, well, and electricity?
It's city water and sewer.
That's what I mean.
Yep.
And gas?
Boy, I'm not sure on that, if it's gas. We see that one of the neighbors has a propane tank in their yard, but I have not checked with Ameren on if it's gas or not. If it's not, we would go all
What do
electric.
you have in your home?
In our home, we currently have gas and electric.
Okay. Probably the same then. Okay. And you show you got 20,954 square feet in your lot,
Each lot.
each lot, and, okay. Each of the, all right. So you have two lots that have 20,000.
Yes.
That's all I have, thank you.
Okay, in our notes here, we
Hang on.
see that,
Norm. Mike McCarthy?
I have no questions.
Splenda?
I have no questions either.
Okay, Norm.
Good.
okay, in our notes here, we see that some of the neighbors have concerns about ongoing property maintenance with the existing property right now. Is that what you just addressed, that
Yes.
we've rectified those situations?
Last year, in May, we did receive an ordinance from the city for the tall grass, which was rectified very quickly. But we've not had any ordinance since, any issue. We mow every week.
There was also concerns about additional traffic, and I don't put much credence on that, whether it's a duplex or a single-family
Right.
dwelling. You're talking one car versus two cars, so.
Right. Yes,
That's all
I
I have.
agree. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's somebody here who'd like to speak on behalf of the neighborhood. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, can you state your name and address?
Yeah, my name is Joel Reeker. I reside at 113 Chestnut Drive, kind of catty corner across the street from the property that we are discussing. I recently purchased this property just about 2 years ago. Did want to say some of the reasons why I purchased the property was because of the neighborhood, how small it is. There is a church at the end of the street. It has not been used. It has not been really in use as a church for probably 3 or 4 years, I would assume. So it seemed like there was very little traffic. There's 4 houses on the street combined. Granted, Pinecrest is pretty busy, but this is right off Pinecrest. We have a very quiet neighborhood. One of the things that I did not anticipate when I purchased this home was the amount of kids that are on the neighborhood. The people across the street from us have 4, and the people right next to us have 3, and then I have a 5-year-old. The safety concerns, I would say, have a lot to do with the fact that this street does not have any sidewalks. With the houses being so adjacent and all those children, they're going back and forth between the houses. As they said, they're looking at putting 2 duplexes. So that would be 4 families moving into the street. That would double the amount of traffic in our neighborhood. The safety, again, like I said, because of no sidewalks. Another thing I wanted to mention, the community atmosphere we have in the neighborhood. Kimberly mentioned that she watched the Facebook meeting last time. I believe everybody from the neighborhood spoke about their concerns. They have been at the property several times since that meeting. Not once have they stopped to talk to any of the neighbors. Not once have they even addressed our concerns. Before today, I wasn't sure who the two people were because I didn't know if they were just someone they were hiring to come and mow the property or not. So I honestly have never even spoken to them. Everybody in our neighborhood talks to each other. We have a great atmosphere. I would have assumed if they saw the concerns on Facebook, they would have come to us first. But that's a poor assumption. Infrastructure-wise, if they are putting in 4 families eventually, I would have some concerns about the infrastructure. I know you talked about water, sewer, and the electricity. The road is not great. It's in poor repair. That would increase the amount of traffic and the infrastructure as well. The last thing I wanted to add was about the maintenance. If you don't mind, can I pass out something real quick to all of you guys? Sure. Some pictures?
Yeah.
So one thing I find interesting is I've lived at this property, like I said, for about 2 years. I had never seen anybody maintaining this property before the last meeting. We had the last meeting, they saw all of our concerns, and they've been out there every week since. It's kind of interesting to me that when they want something, they're going to do something instead of actually having a history of maintaining the property. As you can see here, this is a list of 4 code violations that I believe I observed. These have been turned in to the city today. I spoke with both Jamie Cannon and Joe Boyer. They are going to look into these 4 code violations that I saw. These pictures were taken last night. Some of the things that I see on the property that don't even include in the code violations are 3 dead trees. Those can be safety issues. I understand it is their property, but it doesn't look good for the neighborhood that there's just 3 dead trees laying around. When they say they've improved the property since they've purchased it, I'd really be interested to know why or how that is. The property before was a wooded area. They cut down trees and then they just left them laying there. As you can see, there's piles of trees just laying there. They were never taken or discarded. I would argue that the property value has decreased since they have purchased it by removing those trees and by really not maintaining that area. They had made a comment about the weed spraying. I had brought it to this council's attention. The issue was not that they were spraying weeds. The issue was that when they sprayed weeds, it went onto the adjacent properties and they killed people's plants. It had nothing to do with the fact that they spray or not. So that is all the comments I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else like to speak for or against?
Hello.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Could you state your name and address, please?
Yep, I'm Melissa Vestal, and I live at 116 Chestnut Drive.
Okay, go ahead.
I guess I have more of like the motherly approach. I'm the mother of 4, directly next door to them. I'm not going to bore you with the whole novel I wrote in the moment, but I must point out that the days following our last hearing, all of a sudden they've shown interest in their land. Years went by, or maybe 2 years, not really sure, but months went by, and I too did not know who the owners were. They've never stopped to say hello or anything like that, and that's fine, to each their own. But their interest isn't really in maintaining their lot. I think what they're trying to do is make a profit. From everything I heard was about rent and money and profit, and that's kind of not the rapport of our neighborhood. So I strongly urge the committee to please not grant the petitioners their request. Bringing in 4 tenants would bring down the value of our homes and would not match the rapport of our neighborhood. Renting out units in the neighborhood has high risks of people coming in and out inconsistently and chances of inadequate care by the petitioners as landlords. We've already witnessed what type of landowners that they can be when they weren't seeking anything from the city. I'm not quite certain that they're not going to be really careful who they rent to. so I'm kind of concerned with my children. It could be anybody coming in and out. It's just more to, it's just much more than land and profit to our families that are there. So like Joel was saying, like we're outside together, we eat together, we celebrate together, we're like a unit. So if it was like a single family and they wanted to build a home and they had grandchildren, of course we would welcome them. The more the merrier, but it's just kind of the approach was, it just was a very negative approach, and I just feel like it wasn't maintained right, and then all of a sudden now they care, and it just came at like just an ugly approach, like I said. So please take into consideration the amount of time that we have all lived in this neighborhood and how much the dedication we have for the location of our homes. I want to thank you for your time and consideration in leaving the lot as is and giving us hope that it will just be a single family home. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else want to speak for or against? Could you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you state your name and address, please?
I'm Larry Overcash. My wife Susan and I own the church property that's been discussed here tonight, and we own 40 acres just east of that property. I originally came here just to see what they were planning to do. We purchased the church not because we want to own a church, but because we wanted to protect that community from further development. There may come a time that we sell the church, and that church entails about, I think, 2.4 acres right adjacent to that. And this whole process concerns Sue and I that that might then lend itself to be developed into 4 or 5 more duplexes, which I think would totally destroy the effect of this neighborhood. And I don't think that's a good idea. And the property we own wasn't designed to run a church. It was designed to extend our property and protect the border. But if we do sell the property, which could happen, I think the council would have to grant duplexes to be placed there too, and that could really, really muddle this whole situation. And so I only speak because of what was said tonight, and I'm concerned about it. When the property that this couple purchased was first purchased, they actually put signs, no trespassing, on my property to go onto theirs. And basically, I was the only one mowing at the time, okay? And they weren't mowing their property. And so the sign still exists on my property that says no trespassing on their property. And I found that to be a little bit offensive as well. So that's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Hi,
Hi,
Gail Clayton.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes,
And name and address, please.
Gail Clayton, 119 Chestnut.
Thank you.
My concern is that we're all single families. I feel that when you own property, you don't know what kind of renters you will have. You hope and pray that they're going to be good people and they're not going to interfere with the neighborhood. When you have a single family home, you have someone that is invested in that neighborhood. They want to get along with the neighbors. They want to be a part of a community. When I first heard this, I thought it was only going to be 1 duplex. Now I'm here, it's going to be possibly 2 duplexes, so that means 4 families again. I'm not worried about the buildings. Those are nice buildings or nice homes. But my concern is that we want somebody that's invested in the neighborhood and invested in our community. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Anyone else? Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you state your name and address, sir?
Gary Clayton, 117 Chestnut.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, I'd like to say that my neighbor at 113 made a very good presentation. The four people that live on that street are here tonight, and naturally, we're all against it. Mr. Todd has been a very poor absentee landowner. The city was called on him twice. He made a feeble attempt. The third time the city inspector came out, he said that's the best we can hope for. And in my opinion, that wasn't good enough. He had logs laying all over. He had wood chips alongside the road. He had a wood pile that was over 6 foot tall that is still there. I don't know if I heard Mrs. Todd correctly that she said the safety of the children wasn't a concern. Is that what you said?
The safety of all children is.
Well, I disagree. It's a quiet neighborhood. It's a dead-end street. There's 7 kids on that street. They all have a little scooter. They go out there with their bicycles. They walk the dog. It's a safe neighborhood. Everybody knows everybody. Everybody looks out for everybody. I personally feel, which I'm sure is my opinion, you go start putting prefab duplexes in there, it's going to depreciate the value of the R1 properties. I would like to ask the board 2 questions. What's the criteria for spot zoning? And has the board come out there and looked at the property?
Yes, we've all looked at the property.
Would you tell me what the criteria is for spot zoning?
We'll get to that here in a little bit.
Pardon?
We'll get to that in a little while.
Okay.
We just wanted to hear your comments first.
Has all the board members come out there and looked at the property?
Has everybody seen it?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Some of us at the last hearing, maybe not this time, but we saw it the last time in May. Okay. Okay. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Could you give us your name and address, please?
Frank Clayton, 119 Chestnut.
Okay.
Live right across the street. I've lived on that property 40 years.
I'm sorry, Frank, what was your address there?
119 Chestnut. Well, you've heard it all, and what everybody's want, and what they think. And I believe it should be a single-family residence, and that we should be a community of single-family homes. And you heard everybody's reasoning why we don't want renters, and we don't know who would be they're going to be renting to, and there's a 15-mile-an-hour limit on that street. We've got kids, and that's all I got to say.
Sure. Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, so the next one, case 19-SU-10, petition of Glenn Thomas of Big Daddy Cab Company to amend the existing special use to modify the hours of operation allowable under the number of U-Haul and used vehicles offered for sale, and to allow outdoor storage of materials associated with the business at 1107 East Washington Street, PIN number 010133209012. Is the petitioner here for that one? Hello. Would you raise your right hand, please?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you state your name and address, please?
Yeah, Glenn Thomas Jr., 4546 West Tuscarora Road, Peoria.
Okay, tell us what you want to do there.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead and tell us what you want to do there.
Yeah, well, just operating Big Daddy Cab Company there. I thought the address I have is 1109 East Washington, 1107 And there may be some discrepancy about that, I don't know, but I'm getting mailed 1109. 1107 is the Integ Motorsports.
Oh, okay.
So that may need a correction.
So
but-
we've just got the wrong
Yeah,
address on
that's
here.
fine. Yeah.
Can you note that, Glenn?
Sorry, I will make a notation of that.
Okay.
Yeah, so just operating Big Daddy Cab Company there at the address. Really not a lot of changes. We will be operating the U-Haul as the last tenant did. So I think maybe we're 24/7, but we really don't have people coming in and out of the office 24/7 as far as the cab company goes. I mean, really no one comes to the office for that service. So it would just be there would be dispatchers there 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, though.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, you have any questions?
On your drawing, you indicated you got one parking spot for a Big Daddy and the handicap spot. And then you have Intec parking on the side and Big Daddy parking in the far back corner, and you have 4 spots. Those 4 parking spots, are those for the employees or dispatchers or drivers? Is that what those spots are for?
And you're talking about to the if you're looking at the front of the building to the right.
To the right and to the far back fence area?
Yeah. We wanted to allow some parking back there for employees, basically, in the back corner.
There's a white construction trailer, a white call Harling trailer sitting back there. And then I saw 2 U-Haul trucks and 2 U-Haul trailers.
Yes.
But you have spaces laid out for 5 U-Haul on the side, alongside the grass area.
Yep.
And then you have 4 parking spaces facing the street. Now, is it my understanding that you're going to be selling cars there also? Because it says PO pre-owned.
Yeah, I wanted to leave it open in case I did want to do that, but as of right now, I don't have immediate plans to do that. I knew that it had been a used car lot before, but I mean, I have no immediate plans to use that for any used car sales at all. What it's looking like now is there really isn't room for there to have that going on. So I don't have any immediate plans to do that.
Well, that's what I'm asking, because I've watched that area several different times, and it's become used car lot and U-Haul trucks and other activities there. And it seems as though that what you're asking for is an awful lot of activity
Right.
in that one corner. And that's why I need to kind of clarify this Intec parking. Is that the business that's behind the building, the Big Daddy Cab? Because also, if I remember right, in reading some of the paperwork, this Intec garage, that there would be some work going on there, possibly in the evenings. So are you just renting out a space in that building that is the full building, and then part of that is Big Daddy Cab, and then the Intec garage is a different business there?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, the Intec Garage has an existing business that has nothing to do with us at all. That would be, the garage is directly behind the building that we're leasing, and they work on motorcycles there. But and that's just during the day, though, if I heard your question right.
All right, so I guess I'm a little confused in terms of you're leasing the property, so the property is already set up for the U-Haul trucks, from my understanding, because of the fact they were there before.
Yes, that's right.
And there was also cars there before, but now you would be the individual that would be selling some of these cars or offering them for sale. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that is correct, yes.
Okay, so actually you're going to be running 2 operations. You're going to be running Big Daddy Cab, and you're going to be running a used car lot.
Like I said, potentially a used car, but I mean, that honestly, at this point, I don't think I'm going to be running any used car lot. I know when we spoke of that before, I wanted to leave that as an option, but at this point, I don't think there's really enough room to operate that with the U-Haul and with running Big Daddy Cab. So I'm not really that interested in putting the used car portion on that.
Okay, because on the agenda, the way I understand it is we're just amending the existing special use to modify the hours of operation, which would be your hours of 24/7, which you indicated, because
Yes.
you have a dispatcher there 24/7. Is that 7 days a week?
It is.
Okay. And then the allowable number of U-Haul and used vehicles offered for sale, and then allow for outdoor storage of materials associated with the business at 1107 East Washington. So what materials are you referring to in this outdoor storage of materials associated with that business?
Honestly, when I heard that, I'm not sure where that came from. I mean, I would have, I guess, maybe the cabs. There's occasionally going to be some cabs sitting there, but there's not going to be any material just outside at all. So the only thing I can think that would be referring to is the cabs themselves. We don't always have the cabs out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
All right. So Glenn, this, as far as the agenda and that sentence structure there, does that also include the pre-owned or used cars within this parameter of the special use, or is it not?
No, I believe it does. I believe, as you kind of alluded to, that the outdoor materials kind of address the cabs because they are associated with the business. So unfortunately, that's just kind of the terminology that would be most appropriate.
Okay, for those
So the cabs
vehicles.
are the outdoor materials, and also because Mr. Thomas, I believe, does intend to work on them in the garage, so they could be in and out, as they're getting repaired and worked on and things like that. So again, just as they would be sitting out, either waiting to be repaired on or going to, between shift changes, whether that is still considered outdoor storage of materials associated with the business. So that would be one aspect. The other would be the number of U-Hauls, and it would be then the number of vehicles being offered for sale. And then also the hours of operation. So it's kind of, I guess, generally four things that we're kind of looking at.
So then how does this part of this 24/7 hours of operation affect the other business that is using the building too, which is this in-tech garage? Does that mean that they can do 24/7 operation 7 days a week also, because it's part of that structure?
I see where you're going with that. That's a great question. I think the way we're looking at it is because I know usually special uses are associated with the property. The way this is split up, it's kind of very unique that a vast majority of this business is on kind of one property and the other's kind of on another. I wish I could pull up the GIS and show. It's a very unique configuration. And so as a result of that, the businesses almost sit on entirely different parcels, even though they're owned by one person. But then again, because we are addressing a very specific location and specific uses, no, it would not, because it's the hours of operations that are specifically associated with this business, and that's what's being identified in the special use and not the INTEG. So no, INTEG would not be allowed to operate 24/7, and I don't believe that the owner of that property has any intention to do so.
Okay, so then the in-tech garage is basically a separate structure on the back side of that.
Yes.
But it's not attached to the front building?
Yeah, it is not attached, no.
Okay, so
It's
then-
actually attached to his building. It kind of runs, like his building's kind of at an angle, and mine's more facing the road where I'm leasing. And what we're talking about comes from his building and runs along the backside of mine.
Okay.
So I think maybe the confusing part is where he wants to retain some parking and access through that one section to the right of my end. So
Correct.
I think that's where you're looking. So there's an open space between the building I'm leasing and where he does his motorcycle repair.
Okay, so then the old gas station or whatever, where
Yep.
you have your Big Daddy office in, you're using the front part of that where the garage doors are, that's where you're gonna be working on your cabs or whatever the case may be.
We would like to be able to do that. We are currently not really doing much of that at all, just because we don't have it set up. I have a couple different mechanics that work on all the cabs, so we're letting that happen right now, but we'd like to potentially working on some of our own vehicles. So,
Okay.
yeah.
How many, what is your plan in terms of the amount of U-Haul vehicles that you're going to have there, trucks and/or trailers?
Right. I would say, and this is all, it's all new to us, so we're not exactly sure, but I would say no more than maybe 7 U-Haul tractors or trucks and/or trailers at a time, and that would be just for a day or two until so it really does, it kind of varies, but I would say maybe no more than 8 to be completely clear.
Okay, because I don't know that you have 8 spaces to be able to park 8 vehicles there altogether, trucks and/or trailers.
Right. I would say that there would probably be enough if like maybe 3 of those vehicles or those units would be trailers. Like right now, there's a couple small trailers.
There's small trailers there.
Yeah, those would
And
obviously.
I've seen some flatbed trailers there before.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know that 8 would fit. You're right. Yeah, if they were all smaller vehicles and trailers, maybe. But I don't think. they're
Especially with your bigger trucks.
Right. Yeah. If we had all bigger trucks, we're talking maybe 4.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, if there was a limitation put on the number of trucks and/or trailers that'd be able to be parked there at one time, you would be okay with that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's all I have, sir. Thank you.
Ed?
Thank you. Yep. Got 2 of them now. I can be heard more. No, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with the information anyway. Thank you.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yeah, I've got a couple of questions, more concerns. Your plan shows 5 U-Haul spaces and 4 pre-owned vehicles. Staff has recommended we limit you to 3 U-Hauls and not more than 10 vehicles for sale, and you're not sure if you want to sell anything. So
Yeah,
I'm asking you.
I highly doubt that I will. Yeah.
I'm asking you what you want us to approve here, because whatever we put on this special use permit, you have to live with.
Right.
If we limit you to 10 vehicles for sale, you won't be able to increase the U-Hauls beyond 3.
Right.
So I'd like you to express to the board here what you would like to do with this property, so that if we move to accept, or we move to approve or move to deny, we know what we're doing.
Right, I gotcha. I guess if I had, I would say maybe allow for like 2 vehicles for sale. Because I mean, that way if a situation arises where I want to do that, I could have the option of having 2 spaces for vehicles for sale, the rest for U-Haul. I think that would be.
What does the rest mean? What's the quantity on that?
I'm sorry?
When you say the rest for U-Haul, what's the quantity on the rest? How do you wish to limit yourself?
So if I could do no more than 8 U-Haul units and 2 vehicles for sale.
Okay, thank you. No more questions.
My questions were answered, thank you.
How many cabs do you anticipate being on a lot at one time?
No more than 5.
Okay.
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say it, more than 5. We have shift change a couple times a day where we always want to have, I'm just doing the math in my head. So maybe say 7 to be safe. And that would be just for, I mean, literally 15 minutes, because our call volume demands that most of our cabs be on the road all the time. And so it's just a matter of getting one driver out and another driver in.
Another
and
driver
going
in.
back. Yes.
Do you own all these cabs or are they contractors?
I own all the cabs.
Okay.
Yes.
No further questions.
Yeah, you're showing 5 U-Haul on your chart here and 4 vehicles for sale. So if we limit the number of vehicles for sale and U-Hauls to 9, you would live with that?
I mean, I think maybe if we could raise it up to 10 based on what I've seen.
Well, you're only showing 9 parking spaces on your chart.
Are they? Okay. And then they're not lined. I mean, I came into this and they weren't lined. I don't know. And I think if we look at the previous tenant, I looked
You're
at.
going to have to stripe your parking lot.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's required, okay.
Absolutely, yeah,
You
sure.
understand that, okay.
Okay. Yeah, and I'm new to this, and so whatever I need to do, I'm willing to do. You know, if I need to put up a fence or spend a little money to make the place look better, I'm more than willing to do that. So.
Okay, no other questions?
Okay, I have nothing for you. Okay. Anyone else want to speak for or against? So the next case, case 19-SU-13, petition of Thomas Volk for special use to allow for the placement of an accessory, excuse me, structure of non-traditional facade in the front yard on property located on 104 Hickory Point Lane. Is the petitioner here for that? Okay, are both of you going to speak, or just one, or?
She's my significant other. She lives with me.
Okay. Why don't both of you raise your hand in case you both want to speak? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Could you state your name and address, both of you, please?
Thomas Volk, 104 Hickory Point Lane.
Okay.
Michelle Archdell, 104 Hickory Point Lane.
Okay. Tell us what you'd like to do there.
I'm looking to have a steel carport put up in front of my garage.
Okay.
And I brought all the, excuse me, documents, photos, and all that before the time limit, so I could be on this meeting tonight, which everybody should have copies of and everything.
We do, sir.
Okay.
Okay. All right. We'll start with some questions and then see if you guys have anything else. Okay. Mr. Kelly.
Mr. Volk, in looking at your situation, I'm wondering why you've chosen the use of the steel structure versus just to add on or to modify your existing garage to make it more aesthetic with the rest of the houses that are in that area. I know that part of it, if this picture here with the fact that your garage is underneath the house here. All right. I'm not for sure about as far as the property on the side of your house, your garage, that upper area where the trees are right there. How much of that lot area is that of yours? Is there room to build a garage on
You
the
should
side?
have pictures, excuse me, of lot lines on both sides. Pictures I turned in.
I must have missed that one as far as the lot lines go.
Well, there's, it's all uphill to that area. You're talking major costs, to blacktop concrete up into there to put a structure that way. The only place that would really work is in front of my garage, existing garage.
So then basically, if I understand then what you're trying to do is that you're just basically going to build a sidewall and roof structure in front of the existing garage, so then you're going to pull in through that structure and into your garage that's in underneath your house too? You're using that as
You could
existing
do that
part of the
either way.
garage?
See, the garage is listed, you should have papers on that too, as two-stall, but it is not. The side of the wall of the garage inside comes out where it's only barely a stall and a half. I barely can get a car and a motorcycle in there. What I want to do is protect our vehicles from, as you can see, all the trees around there, they're always dropping branches, and that's what I'm trying to do, to protect my vehicles.
Right, but
As far as a garage itself being put up with that, I didn't think that was possible, you know what I'm saying? That's why I went with the carport.
Well, I guess I have a problem with, you have a unique situation because of the fact that the way you've got the hills on either side of your driveway, and with the landscape timbers or the blocks going up, with the fact that your garage is underneath your living room, I'm assuming.
Yes.
But it appears as though it's a two-car garage as far as the width of it goes. I mean, it's a 16-foot wide door, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
But the
normally-
one wall, as it goes in, juts in, and you lose about 2 to 3 feet.
Well, I guess I didn't see the inside of the wall or the garage.
I show it to you?
When I was there, so,
Everybody should have got one.
well, I have a picture here just with the cars in there, but it's so dark, I can't
Now,
tell.
I have another one that you should have had. All of you should have had. You should have had this one too. As the wall comes in, it juts out. See, there's a car and a motorcycle. There's no way to get 2 cars.
Okay.
How bad?
Well, I see this part here, but there was a bunch of
See
stuff
how
set here.
The wall juts out right past where you go in the door to the house, about 3 foot. And you see how narrow it is?
Okay. So I was looking at the width of the driveway here too. Okay. Yeah. Well, again, I don't know. I don't know if this is really solving the problem or not, and I wonder about if we approve something like this, and we're setting a precedence in terms of other neighbors or other house in other areas that have a garage underneath their house with it built the way yours is, then all of a sudden they'll want to have steel or aluminum or structures setting in front, and I just I don't believe that it's right for the neighborhood or the facade of the area, and won't really conform with the other existing areas around it. And that's one of the questions that we have to answer, is whether or not it will conform. And to me, in my opinion, I don't believe that it conforms to the surrounding areas.
Okay.
So because of that.
Do you have this signatures from all my neighbors?
I have the signatures from your neighbors
Okay.
in terms, I mean, where you've talked to them, but, you know, there again, once some of those people sell the houses or you sell the house, you know, what's the next people?
Well, let me
that
ask
go
you
with
this, what about a garage? I didn't think adding a garage on was even possible. That's why I was thinking about a carport to protect our vehicles.
Well, I think from the standpoint of setback, and you have, from what appears as, I didn't measure it, but as far as your lines in your picture of as far as concrete sections, you probably about at least 40 foot back from the street to where your garage entranceway is, or approximately, or 50-some feet, something like that, because I'm looking at the cut lines in the concrete, and if they're even 8-foot sections, you've got at least 5, 6 sections I see, so that's 40 or 50 feet.
Okay.
So-
Can I read something?
Sure.
Been working with Joe Boyer on this. He's helped me fill all the papers and that out. He said, go to the middle of the street, measure in 25 feet if it's a 50-foot right-of-way.
Okay.
Okay? And if the carport was to be built, where it would come out, the front of it, would be 22 feet from that line measured in from the street.
Okay.
If it's a 55-foot right-of-way, it would be 19 and a half feet from that line measured in from the street to the front of the carport.
Okay.
If
So in
that-
other words, there'd be enough room to build
Oh, yeah.
a carport or structure.
Yes, sir.
But other than a steel structure.
Correct.
Okay.
Like I said, I didn't think a garage adding on would even be possible.
We need to understand the difference too, I guess a question is whether are you implying an attached garage or a detached garage?
It'd go right up against the existing one.
It would have to be
Well,
attached.
Because I mean, if it's an attached garage, it's an entirely different question because it is not an accessory structure in the front yard, then it's just simply a setback variance question then because you would, as long as he could meet a setback variance or the setback requirement for that zoning, he'd be okay. Now, if it's a detached garage, then that's a special use because it's an accessory structure in the front yard.
Well, that's why I'm trying to clarify what that might involve, because what you're proposing in the paperwork that I saw is a steel structure with just a roof and is basically open.
Well, you can get sides for them also. You should have a picture of them also.
Okay, but is it going to have a garage door on it and everything? Is it going to be?
The carport would not, just open front. You can enclose the sides or get partial sides.
Well, I guess instead of a steel structure, it seems to me like a wooden structure built that would be conforming to the existing house in terms of the siding and all that, and try in the roof line. Now, obviously, you got a situation with the front windows there in your living room, and how that would tie in, and I don't know height-wise how that would work or what you'd have to do there. But
No, I had no problem with that. I just, like I said, I didn't think a add-on garage was even possible. I thought it was totally against the rules.
I think if it conforms with the setbacks and everything, I think it's allowable, is it not, Glenn?
Yeah, there's kind of two special uses being requested here in essence, because the carport appeared to be detached, so again, it's an accessory structure in the front yard, and then number two, it being of a metal construction that's not in conformance with acceptable materials, so it's uncharacteristic. So that was the two special uses in essence being requested from this. So if he's able to do, it could even theoretically be another metal building if it's attached and he puts some kind of facade on it, again, that would work. But if he goes with a traditional stick built or anything that's got traditional facade on it, and it's attached, again, then it just becomes a variance setback issue, and not an accessory structure in the front yard, again, of a non-traditional facade.
So you do have the opportunity to build onto the garage.
I'm sorry, yeah, long story, yes.
Yeah, you do have the opportunity to build onto the front of the garage. So if that would be more appealing to you, that would
It'd be fine with
eliminate.
me. I just want to protect our investments.
Well, that would
that's why I'm
eliminate
wondering
what we're looking at
It'd be more
tonight.
of a cost, that's for sure.
Well, so what I guess I'm asking is, then, if that is the particular case, then maybe what you need to do is reassess your approach in terms of what we need to give to you, if we need to give you anything as far as permission to build something on it. But if you're going to put a detached or a steel structure like what you're proposing, then we have to go through this in terms of either approving it or denying it, one or the other. And my
No, I'd
feeling
love to
is
have
that-
like another garage in front of it. I just didn't think that was possible,
Well,
just from what I've heard around.
So I don't know, then would it be best just to have the folks work with you directly and to reassess this in terms of whether we need to even discuss this tonight or not?
I think, I mean, that's kind of up to Mr. Volk here in terms of what, now knowing what you know. You could always, I guess, the board could potentially table it, or you could ask to have it pulled. I mean, there's a couple different options. If it's tabled, it's something that could always be brought back. I mean, technically, if you pull it, you could too, but there's just a little bit more of a negative connotation associated with you pulling it versus it being tabled. Some of these questions, unfortunately, I can't answer because they are buildings and inspections with our residential building inspector. I mean, from a 10,000-foot view, yes. From a zoning perspective, it's allowable. Again, whether he can meet all the building code requirements by putting the garage up front, I don't know. So I don't want to say that it's 100% viable. Theoretically, yes. From a zoning standpoint, yes.
So why don't we table it for now and you check into that? And
Is there subdivision restrictions? Do you have subdivision restrictions? Is there a subdivision? Is this property in a subdivision?
I mean, I don't know. Again, subdivision ordinances aren't provided to the city.
Are you okay with tabling that for now?
I think I have something about that somewhere. What this subdivision's called. If I can find it.
You gotta abide by those too. could be,
There are covenants of the
and
subdivision.
there could be a restriction as to setbacks too.
Yeah.
Because they have a setback for a reason. They use a setback for a reason.
Legal description, section 26, T26NN, R4W, Hickory Point subdivision.
Yeah, Hickory Point.
Does that make sense?
You need to check the subdivision, see if there's a setback in the subdivision requirements.
Okay.
Because usually buildings are set back when they're built, right where the restriction
Setback
is.
lines are.
Yeah, usually
A
start.
lot line deal, you mean, from measuring from the middle of the
I
road?
built hundreds of homes, and I know everyone that we.
Who would I do that with, you?
Well, so kind of two different, are you guys asking if there's like HOA additional requirements, or are you asking if there's just a setback? Because every zoning district has setback requirements.
And so does subdivisions, they'll push them back further if they want to.
They
gotta at
can't,
least
yeah,
meet-
so that's an
They gotta
HO
meet yours, but they may want them back.
Right, and that's more of a homeowners association restrictions, or restrictive covenants, excuse me, is the term we're
Yeah.
looking for, restrictive covenants,
That's what I mean.
that they might have. Again, fortunately, the city's
I'm
not aware
saying
of
that
those.
he's gotta be-
Mr. Volk would have to find out
He's got, that's what I was
if
saying,
those,
he would, yeah.
right, and so, I don't know that they ever usually go with setback additional, I mean, they could, not that I'm ever aware of, but, you would just need to find if there are maybe some restrictions with putting or placing.
Who would I speak to that about, come down here?
That would actually be the Tazewell County Recorder of Deeds office, because usually those HOAs have to
Yeah,
record
they
something
are,
at the Recorder of Deeds office.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the city, we're not
And
always made aware of
Yeah, and
those.
sizes of extra buildings you put on it too.
Yeah.
There might be a restriction.
Probably know it.
Yeah, usually there's a fee.
Mr. Chairman, would it be in order for me to make a motion to table this so to give the Volks opportunity to be able to look into these questions? And
With Mr. Volk's approval, I would say yes. You want to table it for now and check into some other options?
Yes.
I would make a motion to table this for
Yes.
further discussion at a later time.
Okay, Belinda will second that. Okay, so check into things and
So I just go to Recorder of Deeds to get
Yes.
that checked out? Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. That it?
that's,
That gives you folks more time to really get it,
Tom,
look into it.
is there anything, I'm talking about building a structure as far as foundation, would they have to do that, or is that,
Again, that's gonna be all,
does the building department?
that's the residential building inspector would have all that
Building
information.
department
Mr. Boyer, who you contacted before, would be the one that, we would work in partnership to kind of make sure that you're meeting all the setback requirements from the zoning perspective, but then, yeah, he would take over for
And
the,
also, what type of structure
yeah.
he feels that you should, or need to build.
okay. You're welcome to hang around, but we're done with yours if you want to go. I say you're welcome to hang around, but we're done with yours if you'd like to go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Recorder of Deeds,
In, Pekin, yeah.
Thank you.
The McKinsey building, yes.
Surprised.
Okay, if anybody's here for the next one, the black ash tattoo, that has been pulled. Okay, so we'll move on to the next one. 19-V-01, petition of Brenda Meinrich on behalf of Kathy Adams for front, side, and rear setback variances for existing structures located on properties located at 3226 and 3230 Meadows Avenue, property ID 050512108011. How are you today?
Hi, good.
Raise your hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you please state your name and address again?
Brenda Meinrich. My address is 118 East Northridge Lane in Peoria, Illinois.
Okay.
So I'm here for my sister. My
Yes.
sister owns the property, Kathy Adams.
We remember you from before.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Okay, so we had the surveyor come out and do a, whatever you call it, a plat
Uh-huh.
that gave all the measurements that you requested before. And I think you have a copy of what
Yes,
he
we do.
drew up for you. So
I think we abided by all of the requests that you had, so,
Yes. Thank you.
okay.
Okay. Was there anything you wanted to add, or?
No.
Okay, we'll open it to some questions. Mike, do you have anything? Mike Kelly?
No, I do not, thank you.
Okay. Ed?
Not at this time, I don't think.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yes, quick question. The survey you're referring to, is that this?
No,
Yes,
it's,
Then we do not have that.
Was it this here?
it's a better looking copy than that.
Yeah, we don't have, I don't think we have it.
Give me a minute. I will, just give me a moment. I'll be right back. I have one on my desk. I don't know why it wasn't included in the packets.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you stirred up corn today, now. All bad.
It's zoned,
Nobody could ever tell me for certain.
yeah, our,
You charge for this service, or how?
it wasn't commercial, residential, special use.
Because I know guys used to run a body shop.
Yeah. My sister bought it from the body shop guy.
Did he? Did she? Was your sister the one that had the tree taken down? Outside by the house?
Yeah.
Okay.
Years ago, yeah. And they had the ice cream shop. My sister had all of that. I mean, we had all.
Are you still working, Joe?
Yep.
Had a screen printing shop in
Right.
the commercial building.
brand new
And then my
building.
sister lived in the
Yes.
house.
Nicer than the other one?
In a lot of ways.
I've been here before and I did what they told me. so
11 months.
I think we're fine.
It's pretty fast for
I
a
was
building like that.
asking them before, can we separate it? And the way they talked to me before, I didn't even know if we could separate. And then they came to me and said, you've got to separate it. So that's, Austin surveyed.
I hired him years ago down in Maple for 10 acres. And I did 3 or 4 last winter. When we get my property down here in the ghetto. Survey. Oh, yeah. We'll get back with you and tell you when we can get to it.
Oh, God, don't tell me that.
I forgot about Austin. Yeah. I hired him. Well, I didn't. Well, you know where Ag Lab is? That street that runs alongside. They're off, but used to be off the university.
Yeah,
Right
yeah.
down in here on the left.
Right. Now it's on Water Street, but in that antique mall.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I
Were
think
they
the old,
expensive?
where, no, compared, I mean, they're moderately priced.
Of course, this was 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they only charged $200,000.
Oh, yeah. This is more than that.
But then the farmer come along and plowed all the stakes out. So I just,
Yeah. I guess. So that big piece of paper had what he finally put properly on the plat, yeah.
Yep.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, Mr. McCarthy, any questions?
Oh, I don't have any questions. This seems to be very much in line with what we
Okay.
talked about.
All right, Belinda?
No questions.
Mr. Sales?
I'm good also.
Okay, and I'm good also. Thank you.
Well, thank you all very much.
Anyone else?
I can-
Go ahead. Yeah, you can wait, or you can leave, whatever you want to do. Anyone else want to speak for or against that one? Seeing no one, have a good evening. Okay, on to the next one. 19 SU-15, petition of Terry Belcher for a special use to allow for the placement of an accessory structure with non-traditional facade on property located at 316 Center Street, PIN number 010132401221. Okay. Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Could you state your name and address for us?
Terry Belcher, 316 Center Street, East Peoria.
Okay. All right, tell us what you'd like to do there.
Pool barn I like to put up on a lot. I have 2 lots there. They're combined. And I like to put up a pole barn there, 28 by 32.
28 by 32?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 150 by 80 lot.
Okay. All right. What would the, well, let's just open it up to Mr. Kelly.
So you're wanting to add a larger building, this 28 by 32?
It wouldn't be much larger than my house, no.
Okay, because you got,
Well,
on the drawing that I got, you have like 40 feet on your house and 23 feet, but that's not the whole width of your house. In this drawing, you got the driveway, and then, so you got exterior color beige, roof color charcoal gray, and so that steel structure building you're proposing
Yes.
is going to be 28 by 32.
right.
Okay. So then, are you going to make the color of the steel or whatever complementary to what your house is?
Yes, I can, yeah. The house is gonna be vinyl siding. I'm working on that. I put in new windows in this spring and in winter, and with this rain, it's been kind of a slow process of working on the house too, so.
Right.
But I would like to put up one this fall or begin the process of getting something started with the pole barn now.
And you're building this large structure to store equipment inside?
Yes,
or-
equipment, yes. I like to get the equipment out of this rain.
Okay, and this is farm equipment and lawn mowing,
It's
landscaping?
trucks. It's a couple of trucks.
Okay. And then as far as the driveway, you're going to make the driveway, and that's going to be concrete off of the alley?
No, it's just, right now I was thinking of white rock gravel coming in from the alley. It might blacktop it later on, or I don't know about concrete though. That's something I haven't looked into, but that's.
But you're going to have the entrance
The
off of
entrance
the alley
alley,
versus off
yes.
of
Main-
Center Street,
right,
correct?
Right.
Okay. So I believe that, and what's that distance from the alley to the entranceway to the shed? What is that total distance roughly?
The alley.
15
from
feet, 20 feet?
Yeah, I can vary. I can, yeah.
Well, I think-
Probably 20, 30 feet. I can, from the shed to the alley.
Okay, so I believe we have a setback even from an alley doing that. Glenn, the setback dimension would have to be where the building would start, because it doesn't indicate that on this hand drawing here.
Yeah, I didn't think it would be that important, but,
I think
can.
it's necessary to have it back so far from an alley.
From my knowledge, it wouldn't be so much the alley as, again, where the property line would be located, which I'm assuming is adjacent to the alley there. And if it's an accessory structure, it's either 5 or 7 feet.
So it has to be conformed with it. Well, I guess my point is that from the alley to the driveway or to the entrance of that building, I believe that would have to be hard surface. Whether it be concrete or blacktop, it'd have to be hard surface. Is white rock allowable for that driveway distance there or not off of an alley?
We would have to take a look. I know, I mean, that's, it goes by, yeah, it goes by percentage in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So if greater than, I believe it's 40% of the homes in the neighborhood have white rock or gravel or something of that nature, then the petitioner is allowed to have so. But if more than 50% have, it's pretty much the 40% rule.
Yeah.
So 40% more of gravel, you're allowed gravel. 40% more concrete, you've got to do concrete, and that's for 500 feet.
Okay. Well, I guess that's part of the, it doesn't really even address that in terms of, you know, the information that was given us here. That's why I'm asking the question. How tall is this building going to be?
I didn't bring the,
Well, you're going to have like 10-foot high door, 12-foot high door?
yeah, 12-foot high
12-foot
door.
high
So you're
door?
talking,
So it's going to be at least 14, 15 feet high then?
yeah. It's not gonna be higher than the house, so.
Okay, and concrete on the inside, or are you just going to have gravel floor on the inside?
Well, for now, it'd be gravel. The main thing, I just want to get one up, and then maybe if, it's pretty expensive concrete, so maybe later on I can start bringing in and.
You're going to have electricity and heat and everything in this building
No,
at some point?
No, at some point, maybe on down the road.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 12-foot high. It's just a pole structure, you said?
Yes.
Okay. All right, that's all I have. Thank you.
All right, Ed?
Yeah, too many mics here. And I don't mean names either. I don't really, I think you covered most of the questions I have, so you're okay. At this point,
thank you.
anyway. Thank you.
Mr. McCarthy?
Yeah, question really for Glenn here. It looks like the second accessory structure, according to the city, will not violate any city codes in terms of number of or allowable size. So what we're really looking at is a special use for the metal pole building.
I apologize, is there an additional accessory structure on the property? Is there another garage or anything?
No.
I didn't believe so. So no, so the only issue here is the aesthetics.
I got two portable sheds. I got a couple of wooden portable shed.
Maybe that's what staff is talking about, because they reference another accessory structure on the property.
Yeah.
So we're really looking at the
It's
metal.
portable.
Yeah, so it's
side.
predominantly, yeah, so the size is allowable at 900 square feet. I believe there were some other sheds or things of
Yeah.
that nature, but I think the intent here, if I'm correct from what was conveyed to us, is that all the material stored in those would kind of go into this one and then they would kind of go away.
Right.
So then it would just be one 900-foot accessory
Okay.
structure located on the
Okay,
property.
I understand. Thank you. I have no other questions.
Belinda? Norm?
No questions.
Nothing for me either.
Nothing for either.
Okay.
Anyone else want to speak for or against that project?
Terry, I'm not against you here,
Can
but,
you, need you to
where,
raise your-
oh, I'm sorry, Bob
It's okay.
Sinks, 104 Cass Street.
Do you solemnly, raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm
I
to
do.
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yeah. I
Sorry,
do.
we have to go through that.
I know, every time I talk to council, I get it too.
Yeah.
And I forget, so anyway.
That's okay.
For Terry's benefit here, well, I see it as a benefit, he may see it as the other way. But when I measure my lot, I live at 104 Cass, and it bumps on the same alley that his property does, okay? Now, when I measure from where the neighbor had his property surveyed, I tried to get mine surveyed over the winter, but nobody wanted to come out and do anything, but that's another story. I measure over, and by the plat I got from the city, okay, my property is, according to their measurement, you know, whatever, and on the deed, goes right almost in the center of the alley, okay? So legally, I suppose I could say I own half of the alley, all right? Now, I would hate to see him build a building if somewhere 1,000 years ago, somebody went down there through a wagon with a horse and said, well, this is the alley, and he builds it, and then down the road, somebody comes through and does something else, and when the survey comes out, then today he meets the specifications, and down the road, then, hey, you're gonna have to move that building back or cut part of it off. And I don't want to see him have to do that. That's the only reason I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm not trying to throw any wrenches in the gearbox here. I'm just trying to say possibly, I better put it that way, possibly save him a lot of trouble down the road, okay? And because, you know, I tried to get, I don't know, whatever this is, Midwest Engineering to come up and measure mine out and survey it so I could find out if, when I measured over from the neighbor's property stake, because he bought half of one of my lots before I got it. So the stake is there. So when I measured over in the front, okay, my lot is kind of side goggled. Okay, the front, according to that, the alley's fine. When you get to the back, I own about half of the alley, which I'll never get back, but I mean, that's neither here nor there. But, and don't really care about getting it, but I'm just saying, if on these setback deals you guys are talking about, and I understand, I just would hate to see Terry build his building and then somewhere down the road, somebody says, hey babe, you ain't in compliance. And he, of course, his comeback, I'm sure, was as mine would be, well, I did what they said at the time. Well, just because you do what they say doesn't mean that that's going to hold water when somebody else wants to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know, it's all in you guys' ballpark and Terry's, but I just don't want to see him go to all the work and aggravation and money, and then something like that, heaven forbid, which probably will never happen, okay, come up, okay?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to answer that a little bit there. Yeah, I think everybody should realize it's their responsibility to get a survey before they build anything on their property. Everybody should. That's just not common knowledge.
Well, I guess I'll have to try some more.
Yeah. There's other surveyors in Peoria. If you want to list of them, I can give you names of them if you want.
I'll call Austin
Okay.
next time.
Okay.
I hired him down in Maine.
Yeah, it's your guys' responsibility. We don't survey everything, you know.
Well, yeah, I know that, but I didn't know if Terry was.
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate you.
Do I have to stand up?
No,
Oh,
that's okay.
I didn't know if Terry was aware that there could be that possibility.
Right, no, he's right.
But
You're right.
if there is that possibility, there's a whole bunch of garages along the alley that'll end up in non-compliance.
Yeah.
I'm quite sure.
Okay.
But
Okay.
All right. No one else to speak for or against that one? Okay, let's move on. The next one, 19-SU-16, petition of Andrew Ferris for a special use to allow for the operation of a craft distillery on property zoned M1 Manufacturing District, limited located at 526 High Point Lane, PIN number 050503 30003. Okay, and I'm assuming that's you.
I'm Andy Ferris.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Could you state name and address for us, please?
Andy Ferris. I'm at 230 West Detweiler Drive in Peoria,
Okay.
61615.
All right. And then tell us what you want to do there.
So I recently acquired the J.K. Williams Distilling Company. I'd been working on this for some time, but it took a number of months to finalize. And I was at a meeting earlier, or late last month, where I was pretty transparent. But we're not staying there in that location. We are perhaps seeking to start production back up at that facility. I've had the building inspection done. The fire chief was out. We're not looking to do public tours there. We will not have a tasting room there. We may, if certain things happen in the next few months, we may try to start some production there on a limited basis. We have signed a letter of intent to move into the warehouse district on Adams Street. And that literally just today got signed. So we are on a month-to-month basis there, and there's a warehouse full of bourbon that is aging in barrels. So it's just too much money to move all that, disconnect all the equipment, and we thought, as long as it's there and the new facility's not ready, which probably won't be for 5 months or so, perhaps we should look at relaunching some production at that facility. So again, there will be no public interaction there. It would be behind closed doors with 2 or 3 employees there. And really, that's it. There won't be anybody else coming and going from that facility, other than maybe suppliers, but.
Sure.
So, and I, obviously, that building, that site, the company was previously operating at that location. Yeah, I guess more than that, had much more scope of what they were doing. They had tours and they had tasting room and all that, so we're not looking to do any of that.
Okay. Mr. Kelly.
So, Mr. Harris, I understand what you're wanting to do. Once you start up the production there and then you get your other facility that is apparently in Peoria.
Correct.
Then you're going to then continue to produce the alcohol there in the East Peoria site, or are you going to at some point move all the equipment into the other?
The plan, unless, God forbid something happens, the plan is that we're moving the entire facility.
Okay,
And
so
dismantling what's there. The conundrum was, if it takes 5 or 6 months to get into the new facility and everything's really ready to go there, the switch was turned off. We've now done the fire extinguishers, updated and all that, but we thought if it takes 6 months, we might as well use what we've got. It's literally a flip of a switch.
So then, once you get the other facility set up, then is your intent then to just sell the building in East Peoria then?
We don't own the building. We're on a
the
month-to-month lease in that building at 526.
So you basically have purchased the equipment that's in that building?
It's all the electrical, everything that's there is required to be rewired and reinstalled at a new location, so.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay.
Ed?
No questions.
Okay.
Mr. McCarthy?
No questions.
Glenda?
No questions.
Norm?
No questions.
Dino?
None here.
I have nothing for you either, sir.
Okay, great.
Thank
you for your time.
Yep.
Okay.
Anyone else want to speak for or against that case? Okay. You too. Okay. And the last one, case 19-V-17, petition of Mike Axelson of Michael's Italian Feast for a setback variance to allow for the placement of a sign closer to the right-of-way than is permitted by code on property located at 1302 East Washington Street, PIN number 010134108003. Okay, are both of you going to speak? Let me swear both of you. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, go ahead and tell us what you want to do.
Mike Axelson, 1006 Thornberry, Germantown Hills. We're seeking a variation in the sign ordinance for the setback on 1302 East Washington Street. We're going to adapt, use the existing sign there and put another post in the signage, which would encroach another 8 feet towards the property line, towards East Washington Road. The sign itself would be a total of about 200 square feet. Total height would be about 24 feet. It's a little unique for that property just because of the dimensions of the configuration of the property, in the parking lot. If we go into the parking lot, we'd lose more parking spaces, which is a little bit of an issue at this point too. So we're just seeking the variation to just add another signpost, which was actually going to be less of an encroachment than a lot of the other businesses up and down Washington Road since the widening, so.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add?
And could you state your name and address, sir?
My name is Andrew Corey. It's 108 Campanile Court. I'm here on behalf of my father, Mike Corey, and my aunt, Helen Corey. They're property owners.
Okay.
So I just want to be here along with Mike.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Andrew, what was your address there again? I'm sorry.
108 Campanile Court.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kelly?
No, from the looks of it, you're going to do an LED lighted sign, is that right, with the?
Correct.
The one paper in here. And I can see why you would want to have additional support, and because of the uniqueness of the property, I can see why you have to do it this way, so. And it's not, the height of the sign is what? The total height?
It would be approximately 28 feet, or 24 feet, I'm sorry.
24 feet high? Okay. I don't know that I saw that in the paperwork. That's why I was looking for it.
And the second post would help with the wind shear requirements.
That's what I kind of figured. Okay. That's all the question I have. Thank you, sir.
Ed?
I'm good with it. Thanks.
Mr. McCarthy?
Without the variance, what's the impact to the property? You mentioned something about parking. Do you lose a space?
Yeah, we would lose several spaces because of the configuration of the pyramid. We'd have to go all the way to the, if you're facing the parking lot or facing the building, you would have to go all the way to the left. And we would actually be into the entrance in the parking lot. So we'd have to erect another post. So we're just trying to keep it architecturally clean too, so we don't have multiple poles on the property.
Okay, so both poles and the edges of the sign will all be within the property lines?
Correct.
And really, you're looking for just that 10-foot variance to allow that to occur?
Actually, yep, correct. Well, it's actually 8 feet.
8 feet?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
I have no questions.
Norm?
No questions. I believe the property's been in the Corey family for a number of years, right?
It goes back probably maybe the 1940s, before my time.
Since that was a two-lane road, is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
And the state has taken quite a bit of your frontage away from you.
I think that's before my time, but
I'm sure it has.
probably so.
I think you qualify for a hardship variance on that because of that, since the state has taken your property. I would think a variance would be appropriate, a 10-foot variance.
All right.
Thank you.
I have nothing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, anyone else here want to speak for or against that case? Okay, seeing no one, we will close the public portion and move on to the findings. Okay, so the first case would be case 19-R-04. That's for Michael and Kimberly Todd. Does everyone have their sheet? Okay. Now, this one may be a little controversial, but just tell it the way you feel it. Will the proposed rezoning conform with existing uses of property in the surrounding area? I would say no. Will the proposed rezoning conform with the existing zoning of property in the surrounding area? I would say no.
No.
Okay. Is the property suitable to the uses permitted under the proposed zoning classifications? I would say no.
No.
Excuse me. Does the lot possess one of the following 200 feet of frontage, 25,000 square feet of area, adjoin with a lot the same zoning classification?
Yes.
It does have the right size. Okay. And last, will the proposed rezoning be injurious to the surrounding property or improvements? I would say yes.
Yes.
Okay. So based on that, I would say we need a motion to deny.
I'll make a motion to deny the request for rezoning.
I would,
Recommend it.
Recommend council, I guess.
So we recommended that to council.
The council on our sheets, we just say.
Who?
Michael.
So Mike, and then, I'm sorry, who seconded?
Yeah.
Jim, did we go ahead and do a vote?
We need to.
Okay, Jim Weber?
I vote no.
Well, it's.
Well, it's yes.
Yeah, so it'd be
to
yes. So
to
remember, we're
recommending
voting
it to
deny.
deny.
Okay,
Yes.
so that's an aye. Okay, Dino Ori?
Yes.
Norman Sales?
Yes.
Lydia Young? Mike McCarthy? Ed Zosky? Mike Kelly?
yes.
Okay, so 7 ayes. Sorry, I goofed that up. Sorry, I wrote on that.
It's okay.
I was not paying attention. It's on the bottom. Just, yeah, ignore it. If you want it full, just completely cross that area out. You can-
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so that'll go before council a week from Tuesday, right?
Yes, so to reiterate, you still do have the right, even with the recommendation of denial, to take that before city council. So a week and a day from today, city council will be, so next Tuesday, not this coming Tuesday, but next Tuesday, still will go before council and you can argue your case there as well.
Can I ask a question?
Uh,
Or is that inappropriate?
I am gonna be honest, I don't know. I'm not familiar with the
I
rules.
just wonder, do you guys realize that just a street over, there are duplexes on Susan Court, just one street over?
That's condos.
We do, but we've stated our findings. So, but like I said, you can go to the city council a week from Tuesday, and they'll hear your case also. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one. Case 19-SU-10 This is for the property for Big Daddy Cab. Okay. Will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed special use permit be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare? No. Will the proposed special use permit be injurious to the use or enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for uses permitted in the district? No.
No.
Will the proposed special use permit diminish or impair property values within the surrounding neighborhood?
No.
No. Will the establishment of the proposed special use permit impede the orderly development or improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the subject zoning district? No.
No.
Or have adequate utilities, access, roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities to be or have been provided? Yes.
Yes.
Or have adequate measures to be or have been taken to provide ingress and egress from the site, minimizing traffic, congestion, and hazards on public streets?
Yes.
Yes. And will the proposed special use permit conform to all other applicable regulations of the zoning district? I'd
Yes.
say yes. Okay, now we talked about requirements. We talked about, if I remember right, we were at 8 and 2 on cars, and, or am I mistaken?
Well, I think first, are we all in agreement that it is an emotion to approve with
I-
the following?
I would make the motion to approve the special use permit with the following recommendations. That no more than 10 vehicles total would be on the property, a combination of those being for sale or pre-owned vehicles, 2 to 3, and that would mean that that would be up to 7. If there are 3 pre-owned vehicles, there would be 7 U-Haul vehicles, be it either trucks and/or trailers or a combination of that. Also, that the striping of the lot needs to be conformed and done, including the handicap space parking area and the proper handicap signage for the handicap parking. And that also that if it is feasible, that some landscaping or some planting area be created, and I'm not for sure where that would be, except maybe around the sign post area. Some landscaping possibly put in there to help spruce up that corner a little bit more. And I don't know if it's necessary to extend any of the fence because of the way the vehicles would park in there. I think that if they're extending the fence coming down to the front of the street, that most likely they'd end up the fence would get hit or damaged. So I don't know that it's necessary to include any more fencing in that side lot there. Yeah.
I'll second it.
Who was
I'll
second?
second it.
Mike McCarthy, was that you? Who seconded that?
Ed Zosky did.
Okay.
The only Ed on the committee.
Thank God.
I know.
You've already got 2 mics on either side of you.
Sandwich me in.
I got 1, 2, 1, 2. No, I said he's got 2 mics on either side of him. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Got a point there.
Guess I gotta agree with the mics.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do our vote here. Jim Weber,
Yes?
Dina Ori,
Yes.
Norman Sales, Belinda Young, Mike McCarthy,
Aye.
Ed Zosky,
Yay.
Mike Kelly.
Yes.
Okay, so 7, all in favor. So we're saying that he's allowed up to 10 vehicles. The combination is at his discretion,
That
correct?
is correct.
Okay.
Good way of putting it.
That's why I indicated that 2 to 3 vehicles would be 7 of the U-Haul vehicles, or, vice versa.
Right.
He's not sure how he wants to do that, so it gives him some flexibility.
He's new at it. Someone talked him into it. It's crazy. It's like talking to somebody.
Okay.
Opening a restaurant. Worst thing they can do. Talked into it, don't know anything about it.
Thank you.
Okay, the next one, 19-V-01. That's for the property on Meadows that they're wanting to divide.
I got 01.
Okay, well, if a significant hardship result to the owner, if the strict letter of the regulations are carried out, given the particular physical surroundings, shape, or topography conditions of the property? Yes.
Yes.
Is it an inconvenience to the property owner to follow the regulations of the ordinance? Yes.
Yes.
Is the variance requested based upon the uniqueness of the property?
Yes.
Is the variance based exclusively on the desire to make money out of the property?
No.
Will the variance be injurious to the other property or improvements in the neighborhood? No.
No.
Has the alleged difficulty or hardship been created by any person or persons presently having interest in the property and thus self-imposed?
No.
No. Will the proposed variance impair the adequate supply of light and/or air to adjacent property?
No.
Will the proposed variation increase the congestion of the public street?
No.
Will the proposed variation create additional traffic safety problems?
No.
No. Will the proposed variation increase the danger of fire or to adjacent structures?
No.
No. Will the proposed variance substantially diminish or impair property values within the immediate neighborhood?
No.
No. Will the variance be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare?
No.
Would the variance request be generally applicable to other properties within the immediate area?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Mr. Chairman, based upon our deliberation, I would make a motion to the council to request the variance be given.
Okay.
I would second that with the condition that it follow the survey that was submitted by the petitioner.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Mike, you said that the variances granted were in accordance with, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to get.
Accordance with the submitted survey.
They submitted a survey.
One moment, please, sorry.
Sure.
All right. Jim Weber,
Yes.
Dino Ori,
Yes.
Norman Sales, Linda Young,
Yes.
Mike McCarthy,
Aye.
Ed Zosky,
Yes.
Mike Kelly.
Yes.
All right. Just a second. Let's put this over.
Did you have something you wanted to talk to us about? I thought you might. Okay.
Let us finish.
Would like your attention there for a minute. Will?
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You want our pictures?
There you go, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case. Case 19-SU-15. That's for Terry Belcher for the structure on Center Street. Okay, will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed special use permit be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare? No.
No.
Will the proposed special use permit be injurious to the use or enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for uses permitted in the district?
No.
Will the proposed special use permit diminish or impair property values within the surrounding neighborhood? No. Will the establishment of the proposed special use permit impede the orderly development or improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the subject zoning district?
No.
No. R, have adequate utilities, access, roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities to be or have been provided? Yes.
Yes.
R, have adequate measures to be or have been taken to provide ingress, egress from the site, minimizing traffic congestion on hazards on public streets?
Yes.
Yes. Will the proposed special use permit conform to all other applicable regulations of the zoning district?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Jim, I'll make a motion to approve this
Okay.
with the conditions that the metal structure be of a complementary color to the home and surrounding properties, and the placement of the structure conform with required setbacks.
Okay. So that was Mike McCarthy.
I'll second it.
Norm
Mr.
Sales.
Chairman, may I add a caveat to that if I can? And I don't know if it's necessary, but I'd also propose that the lot be surveyed by an engineering firm to verify where the lot lines are because of the fact that we're dealing with the building back close to an alley situation. I think it would behoove us to make sure that that is correct, and then also that the driveway area, whether it conformed to the 40% rule of either gravel access off of the alley or blacktop, if the other existing structures within that area are the same, then it needs to conform to that same hard surface, be it blacktop or white rock.
Did you get all that?
Yeah. Some property be surveyed.
I'm sorry, Glenn, should I spoke slower?
No,
No, you're fine. What? Do what?
He's going to demonstrate that he's meeting required setbacks, and the only way to do that is with the survey.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know that we need to be redundant.
No.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sure that's something the builder would want to be involved in.
So this becomes 3.
So the survey would be up to the owner.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make that a condition then.
No.
Yeah, I'm just expand all that. Sorry. Sorry if you can read my handwriting there. Oh, sorry, I forgot to write the 7 in there.
Oh, that's okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, on to the next one. 19-SU-16. This is for the property up on High Point for the distillery. Whoops, I'm sorry. Yep. I got ahead of us.
Okay, yeah, right, so we got to vote for Terry's, correct? I'm sorry.
He just said 7.
Well, Jim Weber,
Yes.
Dina Ori,
Yes.
Norman Sales, Belinda Young, Mike McCarthy, Ed Zosky, Mike Kelly. There we signed it, okay.
Yep. Okay. Now we're on to the one for High Point. Will the establishment, maintenance, and operation of the proposed special use permit be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare? No. Will the proposed special use permit be injurious to the use or enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for uses permitted in the district? No. Will the proposed special use permit diminish or impair property values within the surrounding neighborhood? No. Will the establishment of the proposed special use permit impede the orderly development or improvement of surrounding property for uses permitted in the subject zoning district?
No.
No. Or have adequate utilities, access, roads, drainage, or other necessary facilities to be or have been provided? Yes. Or have adequate measures to be or have been taken to provide ingress and egress from the site, minimizing traffic congestions and hazards on public streets?
Yes.
Yes. And will the proposed special use permit conform to all other applicable regulations in the zoning district?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, based on our deliberations, I would make a motion to approve the request for a special use for this facility.
I'll second it.
May I suggest the conditions staff recommended here, one, that a survey of the front line be conducted to ensure the sign will be located entirely on the property and not encroach on the right-of-way?
This is for the special use.
No.
Pardon?
Sorry, I think, are
This
you
is the
referring?
distillery, Mike.
We're on the distillery, Mike. I think
We're
you
on
were
the
talking about maybe
distillery.
the
How did-
variance.
Okay, I'm sorry. Got these mixed
That's
up.
the next one, Mike.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of us there, Mike.
My fault. I got ahead of you. I got it now. I want to get out of here apparently.
Did you have any conditions at all, Mike?
No, that's a,
Oh, there we go. Got it. Got it. Sorry.
You're good.
My fault.
No worries.
We'll get that next time.
Okay. No conditions?
No condition.
All right, Jim Weber,
yes?
Dina Ori,
Yes.
Norman Sales, Belinda Young,
Aye.
Mike McCarthy,
Aye.
Ed Zosky,
All right.
Mike
Yes.
Kelly.
Did you second that?
Yeah, trying to combine people down there.
Yeah.
Yeah, had to get another one before.
Yeah.
I'm sure I did my job.
That's okay.
Okay. And the last one here, Michael's Italian Feast, case 19-V-19. And this is for the sign. on what will always be known as the old McDonald's property. Okay. Will a significant hardship result to the owner if the strict letter of the regulations are carried out, given the particular physical surroundings, shape, or topography conditions of the property?
Yes.
Is it an inconvenience to the property owner to follow the regulations of the ordinance?
Yes.
Is the variance requested based upon the uniqueness of the property?
Yes.
Is the variance based exclusively on the desire to make more money out of the property?
No.
No. Will the variance be injurious to the other property or improvements in the neighborhood? No.
No.
Has the alleged difficulty or hardship been created by any person or persons presently having any interest in the property and thus self-imposed?
No.
No. Will the proposed variation impair the adequate supply of light and/or air to adjacent property?
No.
No. Will the proposed variation increase the congestion of the public street?
No.
No. Will the proposed variation create additional traffic safety problems?
No.
Will the proposed variation increase the danger of fire to adjacent structures? No. Will the proposed variation substantially diminish or impair property values within the immediate neighborhood? No. Will the variance be detrimental to or endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare? No. And last, would the variance request be generally applicable to other properties within the immediate area? Yes.
I'd like to make a motion that we grant a 10-foot variance since he has a hardship on this particular piece of property created by the state.
I would second that.
Did anyone have any conditions or anything else on this one?
My suggestion would be the conditions recommended by staff, and that a survey be produced of just the front property line to ensure the sign is located entirely on the property, and then landscaping around the base of the sign of at least 25 points. Same as you got here on the...
Yeah, no. Is everybody on board for that one?
Yep.
Okay.
Did someone second that?
I did.
Okay. Jim did.
Sorry, give me 1 second to write this.
You're okay.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and do a vote. Jim Weber?
Yes.
Dino Ori?
No.
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 No. Norman Sales?
We're voting to approve.
We're voting to approve with the condition that a survey has to be done to ensure that the sign is on the property and that 25 points worth of landscaping has to be done around the base of the pole.
Aye.
Okay? Linda Young?
Aye.
Mike McCarthy? Aye. Ed Zosky? Aye. Mike Kelly? Aye. Okay, so 6 ayes and 1 nay, so it passes. No, that does not. The variance ends with you guys, so everything else will go before council. The two variances will not, so V01 and V19 will not go before city council. They are approved and we can move forward with those, and then everything else will go before council next week.
sir. Okay. Any, oh, go ahead. Sure.
So, yeah, it would just be now.
Any new or old business that we need to discuss? We good?
I guess it would just be, mostly new business would be just be mindful that I'm hoping that we might have someone come back in again to modify the PUD for Arnold Road. I don't know. Apparently there are, to the city's knowledge, other buyers are now interested, but I don't know where that stands, but just be prepared. We might have that case come before us again should another buyer be interested. So just, keep that in mind of what you think would be applicable for that location, for that PUD, because I have a feeling it will come before us. It's just maybe not for the tattoo studio, but for something else, because there are other interested buyers, from our understanding, so.
Okay. Can we get a motion to adjourn?
Well,
We got a lot of seconds.
You get to pick one, so I'm sorry, who did the?
Melinda, she gets to be the second.
Okay.
Mike Kelly made the motion to adjourn.
Okay.
He wants that noted.
Okay, so vote aye.
Aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.